episode 9 of the Sounds of Stadia post show, right off the back of our 52nd year anniversary episode. We bring you
52 years?
Yeah, 52 years. We're super old now. Super old. Stadia's been around for half a century, and you don't even need a Chromecast now. It just streams straight from your brain.
Straight from your brain. Look at
you
this.
don't even need a controller. You just sit there and go.
I'm playing Hitman 47 right now.
Right in your head. Yes, this is the 9th episode of our post show. Obviously, it's exclusive to Patreons early. If you go over to No, you don't. If you go over to www.patreon.com/Sounds of Stadia, you get this episode super, super early by 2 days. We may tweak that a little bit, but we'll talk about that at another time. You get it early. Thank you, obviously, everyone, for your support again. And this week's question is brought to us by none other than one of our loving Patreon supporters, the AA Battery herself. Ashley brings us a question talking about playthroughs and streams. And in particular, she asks, do you think watching playthroughs or streams of games makes people more or less likely to buy the games themselves?
Before we get into this, I need to ask, the AA Battery herself?
Her initials are AA.
That makes sense.
Yeah, AA
There we go.
Right. I think it's a good discussion point, actually. I'm actually really glad she's asked that question because I think it goes quite deep when you think about it on different levels. There's obviously a big world for online streaming and Let's Plays of video games at the moment. There has been for a number of years, probably the past decade. I might even go as far as saying. I mean, YouTube's what? Is that YouTube 2010, 2011? Or is it later than that? Is it 2013?
For what?
For when YouTube started.
2008?
It's like is it 2008?
2008? Okay, so yeah.
I was thinking
a
2006.
So. I mean, when we were in college is when it all really kicked off. So, yeah.
Definitely didn't use YouTube when I was at secondary school or in sixth form. Definitely didn't.
I did. Founding 2005.
Yeah, but when did it become a big thing?
It was purchased by Google in 2006.
Despite that, it's a massive multi-billion industry at the moment. Like, there's so much money involved in that. So naturally, a lot of the entertainment comes out of lots of different types of media, but we're focusing on video games here. Do you think watching playthroughs and streams of video games influences people's decision on whether they do or don't buy a game? There's again, I'm going around in circles here, but there's a lot of things we can discuss here. I think on a surface level, yes, it does influence it, but does it make them more or less likely? I think it could be either way. People naturally, I would say, probably use streams and Let's Plays almost like advertisements for games. Now, I actually think it's the best form of advertisement for a product these days.
Yeah, influencers and content creators, I think.
That's why people are known as influencers,
rather
because it's going to influence.
Review.
Yeah. I definitely think that if you were to be interested in a game, you'd probably want to get a good feel for the game. So you're probably going to spend some time actually watching content and trying to generate your own opinion of it.
Yeah, it's got so many kind of like outputs for it. I'm trying to think how I go about mine. So I usually look at like the initial review score numbers come in for a new game, and I think, okay, either I don't focus too much on like the minute, like anything that's 7, 8, 9, or 10 is probably in my wheelhouse of playing. Anything less, like if something clocked in with like a 5, I might be put off a little bit, but I think it wouldn't be a straight out no. That would then push me to then look at other avenues, at like content creators or influencers, maybe get a better take on it. Because I don't think you can trust reviews wholeheartedly, because it's just one person's impression who happened to review the game.
Absolutely.
But I definitely think it has an influence, and if everyone you watch on YouTube is singing praises for this one particular game, movie, book, TV show, whatever it may be, that then trickles down to your friends talking about it, and they influence you as well. And it's just a knock-on effect of circles of influence and how we talk about it. Like if me and you, Tom, were talking praises about something, Richie's interest would be peaked tenfold because we're both singing its praises, regardless of what it is. If I was saying like, oh, this new Monster Energy drink flavour is amazing, you should check it out. Next time you're on the shop and you see it at the kind of the till checkpoint, you probably 11, 12, whatever it may be, likely more inclined to pick it up.
I've genuinely tried Monster Mango Loco just because I see you drinking it all the time.
It's the best. It's the best. And now some of you listening out there will think the exact same thing. Next time you see it on the shelf, you go, "Oh, is that the one?"
Drink Mango Loco.
Do it.
Drink Mango Loco.
Drink Immortals Phoenix Rising because
Well, you can't drink Gods and Monsters anymore after the lawsuit. So,
but no, I think it does have a massive take on it. And
well, I think for me, because of the price of games and how much time I have to play, you want to be smart about your choices. You want to try and make sure when you buy a game that you are going to enjoy it. So the more information you can get about the quality of the game and how the game kind of presents itself, what the key mechanics, all that sort of stuff, the better, really.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah. So I've often, if there's a game I'm on the fence a bit about, I'll wait for not only just review scores, but also let's watch a couple of Let's Plays and learn a little bit about how the game plays.
I mean, you could get quite philosophical with this. So, like, I just said a couple of seconds ago, knowledge is power. But the opposite side of that is ignorance is bliss as well. So, like, I do think there's a side of it that you can expose yourself to making people less likely to enjoying games, because if you were to watch a video stream or a Let's Play of one person's experience of a video game, the way they approach that video game, because it's such an interactive element of media, can also have a detrimental effect to your opinion of it, because they may take something at a very different approach than you would too. So let's say an RPG, for example, somebody could take a certain path down an RPG which may not be the most appropriate path based on the decisions that you would make. And you might see that and may see the experience of it and may go, I don't really like what I'm seeing at the moment, for example. And you might then be put off buying the game. Do you get where I'm going with that?
I'm with you there, but in RPGs, especially with branching path ones with branching narratives, I actually find this is one that I like to watch the Let's Plays of after I've already rolled credits, so I can experience the other parts of the game that I didn't.
That brings me onto one of mine. I think I've many times the last year or so, probably more importantly, I mentioned in the main show about like I'm such a big fan of like narrative driven games, and some of the content creators that I personally watch, I've since gone back and watched them replay games that I finished just to get their take on like certain scenes or certain moments. Like The Last of Us, I think in the Uncharted series, I've watched a couple of people play back through them, whether it's my content creators or I think the biggest one for me was Nolan North, who does the voice of Nathan Drake. He actually played through the full trilogy, the original games, as him, and he'd never played them before. He was an actor who did the game, so it's almost like behind the scenes for me, like watching all the Lord of the Rings deleted scenes and commentary and how they did the sets. It's almost like that for games, watching the mocap actor talk about scenes like, oh, this was a box, that was a plastic gun, we shot that here, we did like, there was a scene that was supposed to be here, I remember doing that, and getting that kind of...
That was a really cool series.
That kind of like deeper insight into it is great, but so I'm playing the game by not playing it. I don't think I would watch a Let's Play of a new game.
Okay.
However, there's also ones that I didn't get around to playing that I've started watching people play that I've never seen personally. I don't have the time to watch it personally. But if I have half an hour to watch an influencer play through an older game that I didn't get a chance to look at, I'll enjoy it through their eyes, almost.
I'm with you there. I know it's not a Let's Play, but sometimes, like, when it came to me picking up God of War for PlayStation 4, I hadn't played any of the other God of Wars, but I kind of wanted to know what the story was up to that point. So I actually found like a video essay that kind of summed up the key plot points throughout the game.
So like a lore, like look at the lore of it. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So to just get myself prepared, so I wasn't going in completely blind to, because I think if you went into that game completely blind, there's certain story beats that would just went, why is this so dramatic? Like what's going on there? So that actually, I think, elevated my experience of the game.
Right, I'm with you. So let's make this more Stadia specific then, gents. Let's focus then on the idea of it through Stadia specific features like click to play and crowd play as well. Do you think that utilizing those features is actually going to have an impact on whether people are more or less likely to buy a game themselves? Because I think from what I've seen, and I'll get your take on it in a second, Chris, is if I were to be watching my favorite YouTuber or streamer and have the ability to be able to click to join into a game, I think that definitely opens up access very quickly. And I think one of the things we can sing praises about with the service itself is that ease of access to it. I do think that is going to have an influence on the likelihood of people buying a game, but I think again it very much depends on what that game is. So a game that might be relatively cheap to access, you're probably going to get a younger audience accessing that quite easily. But a AAA game, for example, might be more difficult to get people invested in it through a feature like that. What do you think, Chris?
I think it's such a weird one because it really could go both ways. If you're watching a content creator and you think, oh, this is great, I can jump in, I can impact the game, I can have an effect on it, I can talk to them in the chat. That may be a case of I'm happy doing this. This is the game for me. I just like with Dead by Daylight that's supposedly coming out before the end of September. You could arguably have more fun just pissing off the YouTuber you enjoy watching and take fun in watching their pain and suffering. And dropping bad guys in or minimalising their kind of health pickups or whatever it may be. And you might find fun there, but maybe don't want to play it yourself. It may actually have a counter effect and it may put you off playing it, thinking, well, I don't want to be chased and do whatever it may be myself, but I'm quite happy to do that. And it gives you a good insight into how the game plays. Another one we've probably not even touched on is like ability. Like a lot of people probably don't want to play certain games because they just think they're just not good at them. Like I wouldn't pick. I've got a great respect for the Demon Souls, Dark Souls type games. I don't buy them because I just don't think they're for me. But I appreciate and enjoy what happened. I've watched a good couple of Let's Play series of the original Dark Souls games, and I know the story now. I know the characters. I've watched the Sekiro one as well. Won't buy them, won't play them because they're not for me. But I've enjoyed it through the lens of somebody else. Doesn't make the developer any money, but
I actually bought Dark Souls because it's one of them I kept hearing just dropped down left. What's this Dark Souls thing? Watched a few Let's Plays and went, this looks pretty cool. So I bought it on Steam and I didn't like it, but I bought it. Like it did influence influence my decision, but I went in already prepared for my decision to be influenced.
Okay,
because that is why I sought out a couple of Let's Plays to learn a bit more about the game. I just didn't like the way it felt the game feels. It's got a particular way it controls. It wasn't for me, but
I do worry that I think to sum it up in a way, I think the game is very important in the whole discussion, really, like the actual content of the game, but also people's experiences of the game. And I think they're two very large variables in this whole thing because, you know, not every game is for everyone. And likewise, like if you put those two things together, they're never always going to mesh. Now, hopefully you see certain streamers, certain YouTube content creators, you see certain outlets for this type of content. They're going to be very much niche on their type of thing. That's where a lot of people draw their successes from. So hopefully if you are looking for a roguelike game or a sports game or an action RPG or something like that, you know where to go for those kinds of things. I do think... From my personal perspective, I do think actually watching that sort of content does definitely influence, and I think people it's really down to the individual themselves to make that decision. I know this is a very like bitty answer. It's not really sort of like conclusive.
There's a lot of nuance in the question. It's based on who's streaming it, who's looking to buy it, what is the quality of the stream, what the game is. That's
the experience as you see it.
I think a big one that has definitely been a benefactor of this is Fall Guys recently.
Yeah.
I've played Fall Guys only because of the amount of hype around that game. I wanted to see what it was about. I mean, I didn't buy it. It was a PlayStation Plus game. I had PlayStation Plus anyway.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't turning up...
Yeah. And I've bought it on Steam.
Yeah, if it wasn't turning up everywhere, I probably wouldn't have even given it a second look. And the hype, I think, is generally generated by influencers talking about it, Let's Play series, and people look at it and go, that looks fun.
Yeah. I want a piece of that. It's definitely an ambiguous question just because you're right there, Richie, in saying like who and what and where and when and what game and what title, because some do stream better than others. Like a story-driven game, like personally I wouldn't want to see any of it, but if it was a case of like a battle royale or a multiplayer, I might want to jump in just to see like what the graphics are like, what the gameplay works like, what the leveling up system works like. We've actually had a few people, Richie, in regards to Avengers when we've played Avengers, and people have been in the chat going, "Is this game any good? Is it worth it?" And we very much like give our 10 cents worth, but we've also then gone on to just hang around for a bit, and you will see what the gameplay is like. You'll see what the leveling up is, and whether that influences people for better or for worse to make their informed decision. There's so many outlets and videos out there now. I don't usually ask them. You can just Google it or YouTube it and just say review reactions to get a quick a hot take on it almost.
Okay.
Yeah,
so go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I think one thing we can say for definite is Google are banking on basically Let's Plays and stuff being influenced purchase decisions. If you look at things like click to play, crowd choice, crowd play, these are free key features to the Google Stadia platform that are all based around content creators playing with their audience.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there on the surface, isn't it? If you look at the actual features and the list of features that are coming, it is very much geared towards that. And some people will pay for the experience to be able to, as you said, Chris, jump into Dead by Daylight and start harassing their favorite streamer or YouTuber. Some people will pay just for that experience of being able to do it. Some people, on the other hand, might load up a stream of somebody who's currently farming currency in a video game to try to buy a set of gear to go to a new area. They might watch that and catch that little bit and go, this is boring. I am not interested in this whatsoever. It really is just, it's so open to your own interpretation. But the one thing I think we can all say is, this platform is an incredible advertising platform, for it. You can make your own decisions based on what you see, just the same way that you would watching something on TV. You'll see something and you'll decide within 5 seconds pretty much yes or no, I reckon.
It's the new make or break on kind of restaurant reviews almost. If you get a restaurant and it gets X amount of bad reviews, that will probably be out of business very, very quickly. It actually happened, Richie, in one of our towns near us for Burger King, a massive institution as big. Sorry, not Burger. Yeah, was it Burger King? Basically, a big restaurant chain opened up all over the country. Well-known brand, well-respected brand. Didn't even last 6 months, and it was gone. Which is crazy to think, but that was because it opened to bad reviews.
It was.
And just
it was TGI's. It was where Burger King used to be.
All right, I was trying to be ambiguous and not give people away where we live, but
it's fine.
There we go. But either way, and it didn't last, and that was down to just initial bad reviews and bad responses. And you're totally right with games. If any game comes out and gets slandered or slated or bad reviews or it's buggy, it goes in the bin quite early on.
Yeah.
And I think it goes for everything. We live in a culture now where if it ain't the best, I mean, just look at DC movies and stuff. There's so many different hats you could put on this conversation. I don't think there's one answer, but in terms of them influencing people to make decisions for better or for worse, I 100% do think streams and playthroughs have a huge impact. But then again, if your product's good, it'll sell regardless.
Absolutely.
I think the thing to be careful of is making sure is almost like the integrity of the streamer, making sure things like you get making sure that if there is a code that was given to them or they're getting paid to play the game, that they're declaring that. And most good streamers will also actually be fairly honest about, no, I will only accept this money at this code if I'm allowed to just basically give my unfiltered opinion on the game. Because that's where you need to be careful of, just in case you're watching someone who's getting paid to play the game, but it's basically you're watching an advert for the game rather than someone playing the game.
You're right. I get it all the time with mobile games that pop up, and it's like, hey, have you checked out this new game that just came out? I get 10 points for just clicking register now. Sign up and you get 100 free coins for this and that. It's amazing. I spent all week playing this game. All my friends play it, and you just think, oh my. But people are influenced by that. People who aren't maybe as conscious as how marketing works and influence works, they just go, this looks amazing, download app now, and then before you know it, they're into that cycle of giving money. So for a game that's probably terrible, I did it actually this week because of something like that, and it was a really daft game. It popped up on YouTube or somewhere in the middle of an ad, and it was one of those games where you connect the pipes. It's just one of those, and it was just something that I thought, you know what, I've not played this a game like this in ages. Free to download. I was like, you know what? Yeah, it looked fun. I'll jump in. I'll kill some, like, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes.
And you got an ad as soon as you loaded it.
Yes, I did one level, and then it was a 10-second countdown for an ad, and I was like, you've lost me. I'm out. Uninstall. And it was like...
Too aggressive.
Oh, immediately too aggressive. Yeah, it wasn't even gradual.
A mobile game... I think a mobile game I've got for free, I don't mind an ad being in there, but you come on.
Yeah, it got me with the gameplay and then fucked itself over royally just on... I finished one level and it was like, watch this ad, buy more, or buy more like actual coins to bypass the ad or something. It was like...
Pipes.
I'm out, do one. I'm not doing it, so yeah.
Wow.
How to influence people and make friends. Oh, was that the book? Is that a book or a movie? Simon Pegg?
Something like that.
How to influence people, something like that. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our post-show episode number 9. Thank you very much to our Patreon, Ashley, for writing in with the show's question. Remember, you can do that as well over at patreon.com/Sounds of Stadia. And do remember, if you're watching this episode later in the week, you can get it early by going over and dropping us as little as $1 to help support the channel and support us grow. And write in with your questions. Thank you very much for stopping by. My name's been Chris.
I've been Tom.
I've been Richie.
From TGI's. We've been Sounds of Stadia.
Nice.
Have a great week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.